Katie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part of my Let's Talk About It series, and we are doing the fourth video of Disney fan theories. So we're going to just jump right into it. First one we have is a Luca and Encanto theory. It says who Alberto's dad is. Hello, I want to talk to you guys about who I think Alberto's dad is and why. I think his dad may be Bruno from Encanto. Now, before you go, Raven Girl ain't no way, I have some small evidential things that could change that. Alberto throughout the movie says Silencio Bruno to get negative voices out of his head. I think that Bruno was in Italy because he had just been shunned from his family. He went there to just be himself, and he probably found someone, hence Alberto's mother. They have a similar build, tall and kind of bony. Bruno was shunned from his family, and that could have imprinted on him to the point he left his son. In the short, Ciao Alberto yells at Massimo, saying, "Just leave me alone, Dad," making me think that Bruno often bothered Alberto. And Alberto got upset, like Massimo did when Alberto tried to leave. Or maybe when Bruno left, Alberto was begging him to stay, reminding himself of his father. I did do some research and found Alberto is 14, and Bruno was in the walls for 10 years. That doesn't add up, but Bruno having a secret significant other would make sense considering Disney was going to have Isabella Madrigal have a secret lover named Bubo. So what could have happened is that Bruno had a son and took him to Italy when he was little, hence Alberto thinking he's lived there all his life with no one to tell him otherwise, and raised him there for a while. Alberto had to be old enough to count and learn when Bruno left him because Alberto had been by himself for over a year. Yeah, no. Bruno couldn't leave the Encanto. He even says the mountains around the Encanto were too tall. No, this theory just doesn't work. I don't think it works. The next theory is a Jungle Book theory. Mowgli from the Jungle Book is actually the bad guy of the story. So this theory is one I've had for a few years now. After rewatching the Jungle Book with my children a couple times over the last few years, I've come to the assumption that Mowgli is actually the bad guy of the film. My theory is as follows. Shere Khan, the tiger, who spends most of the film trying to find and kill Mowgli, is actually just trying to protect the jungle. As an intelligent being, Khan is aware of the destruction that humans bring to the jungle and the devastation they leave in their wake. Therefore, whilst Disney portrays Khan as being a baddie, he is actually the one trying to keep the balance of peace to the jungle and everything that lives in it. I thought that was the whole point of the movie. And I don't think, in Shere Khan's eyes, Mowgli himself is not the bad guy. He's not the villain. But man, humans are the bad guys, and Mowgli is a human. So I think that definitely makes sense because that's basically the plot of the movie. Shere Khan just doesn't want man in the jungle, which makes a lot of sense because man is bad. The next one is from Up. This does have a trigger warning for infertility. The Fredricksons' house caused Ellie's infertility. While watching Pixar's Up, I noticed young Ellie looks rather red in the cheeks during one of the scenes. That led me down a rabbit hole remembering, incorrectly it would seem, that something like scarlet fever could cause infertility, but it did point to a possible alternative that could cause her infertility. Carl and Ellie seem to have spent a decent amount of time in their clubhouse, Ellie more so as the clubhouse appears to be well established by the time Carl meets her. They later buy and remodeled the clubhouse, making it their home. Carl is 78 when he begins his journey south according to the Disney Fandom Wiki, and if the release date is present day for the journey, Carl would have been born in the early 1930s. Prior to 1940, around 87% of homes used lead-based paint. Lead exposure can cause reproductive problems in human reproductive systems by messing with hormones. By playing in a home built prior to 1940 that was clearly in disrepair and then remodeling that home themselves, both Ellie and Carl were likely exposed to a significant amount of lead, dust, and paint particles containing lead. Sadly, that acute lead exposure rendered Ellie infertile. It also may have been a cause of her death. Lead is stored in the bones, and as your bones degrade with age, that lead is released back into your bloodstreams. One of the key symptoms is weakness. Acute lead poisoning can lead to brain or kidney damage and death. That makes a whole lot of sense. In my eyes, that makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, the next one is Descendants theory, so the movie's Descendants. Just watching the third movie, I have a few theories, but today's is about Audrey and Mal. Fairy tales are about balance between good and evil. Mal and Audrey are essentially from the same tale. By being interested in the same prince, their destiny was somehow activated. When Mal became good, Audrey had no choice but become evil since one of them had to be. None of the others had their destiny activated this way. I think it's supposed to say altered this way. I feel like there has to be a villain in every Disney movie, right? There's always a villain. With Mal being good, someone had to be bad. Yeah. Okay, the next one is a Lion King, Ice Age, and Zootopia one. So Lion King and Ice Age are prequels to Zootopia. Zootopia is set in an alternate universe where animals evolved to become sapient and bipedal, and humans didn't make it to the present day. For the purposes of this post, I will refer to the Zootopia era as the present. I think Lion King is set at an early stage of their evolution. No humans are seen, not even primitive hunters. I know what you're going to say. No, Hercules did not kill Scar. That's just another lion with a dark mane and a scar. Scar was mauled by the hyenas. He wasn't killed and skinned by Hercules. Instead, animals have complex social hierarchies with a monarch, which has a lot of the precursors to Zootopia. First, the lion monarchs. The lions seem to care about the state of the Pride Lands, even though they routinely hunt and kill. This gets more than a little unnerving knowing that antelopes are just as sapient as they are, but such is the circle of life. And this social inequity carries on to the present day, where although prey animals aren't outright hunted, there is still a lot of prejudice where predators will bully prey and prey fear predators. Not only do the animals in Lion King have a complex monarchy, but Rafiki displays the early signs of spirituality and religion with his shamanism. Next up, we have non-sentient bugs. This solves the issue of what do modern-day predators eat if they no longer hunt sentient prey. This also brings up the only hiccup to my theory. Lion King clearly shows birds being sentient. Two possibilities. First, they simply died out for whatever reason. It's evolution, a lot of species die out. All the quadruped species died out and so did birds. Easy enough. Second is that there could be birds, just not in that particular city. The movie never explicitly says only sentient mammals exist. I also think Ice Age could be in this timeline as well. This is before Lion King, first because of the obvious title of Ice Age animals, but also because in the first movie we see humans. We see primitive humans in the first movie, but then never again. Not even fan service showing the boy all grown up. So what gives? Easy. The humans don't make it. That's the point of divergence of this timeline from the real one. The tribal humans simply don't survive the Ice Age, leaving animals to fill that niche. So in Ice Age, we sort of get to see the humans die out and animals are beginning to take on more complex social roles. Note that after the first movie, their social structures get more and more human. Give it a few thousand years and there will be a monarchy of predator over prey, then a few tens of thousands more for bipedal animals building cities. I think that's an interesting theory. I don't know how likely it is because isn't Ice Age a DreamWorks production, so 2 different studios? I don't know. It's interesting thought. The next one is a Hercules theory. Disney's Hercules is telling the story as Zeus would tell it to make him look good. Most of us know that Disney's version is way off from the original Greek stories of Hercules, and I think it's because we're hearing the story as Zeus would tell it. Oh, the earth was a nasty place before Zeus cleaned it up, if you say so. Of course, Hercules is his and Hera's son. He would never cheat on his wife. So why is he only a demigod? Because Hades made him a demigod. That guy's a dick. Why is he a dick? Because Zeus doesn't like his weird little brother who lives in the basement. That makes a whole lot of sense because if you know anything about Greek mythology, you know that Zeus was a man whore. That guy had millions of freaking kids. And Hercules was not Hera's son. He was Zeus's son, but not Hera's. Disney's retelling of it is a very made-up telling of it. Okay, the next theory is from Tarzan. Disney's Tarzan. Tarzan was able to defeat Saber because by the time they fight, Saber is a very, very elderly leopard, granting Tarzan the upper hand. So I was rewatching Disney's 1999 Tarzan film today and saw a discrepancy. I did notice when I was a kid, Saber, the leopard that kills Tarzan's parents at the beginning of the film, manages to hunt, fight, and defeat adult gorillas and humans armed with shotguns and other technology. But Tarzan, our hero, manages to kill him with the broken end of a homemade flint-knapped spear later on in the movie. There's no doubt that Tarzan is incredibly athletic, strong, and agile, but he isn't superhuman, at least not enough to be stronger than Kerchak, a fully grown silverback gorilla, or more dangerous than his biological father was with a shotgun. How in the absolute hell did he go up against Saber with a sharp rock and win? Physical abilities be damned. Well, I did some research, and then it hit me. The film takes place over the course of 20 years, from when Tarzan is a baby to when Tarzan is, well, a 20-year-old man. Saber is around at the beginning and still around and dangerous by the time Tarzan is fully grown. Leopards only live between 12 to 17 years on average, and males reach sexual maturity between 2.5 and 4 years old. Let's say that Saber is some sort of mutant leopard super Chad and reached maturity around 2, which was when he killed Tarzan's parents. This would make him 22 years old by the time Tarzan has grown up to the age of 20 years old in the film. That is ancient for a leopard, let alone a leopard that has to hunt and support itself in the wild. To be honest, the fact that Saber is still around and kicking in the African jungle at all, let alone able to defeat Kerchak and go a few rounds with Tarzan directly afterwards, after 20 years, and keep him on the back foot the entire time is astonishing. It is amazing that Tarzan was able to kill a leopard, but just as amazing that that particular leopard was able to put up a fight at all. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes total sense that, of course, this leopard is super old. I mean, Tarzan grew up 20 years. The leopard had to grow up 20 years, so makes sense that that was how Tarzan was able to defeat him. Okay, this is a Frozen, Tangled, and The Little Mermaid theory. Frozen, at the beginning of the movie, Elsa and Anna's parents pass away. Many believe their parents were traveling to see Rapunzel. Why would her parents travel to see Rapunzel? Many people believe Rapunzel is related to Anna and Elsa. For a short second, a scene in Frozen is shown of Rapunzel and Flynn walking into the castle. Her hair was already cut off. It is to be assumed Elsa and Anna's parents died on the way to their wedding. What does this have to do with Ariel from The Little Mermaid? At the beginning of the movie, the ship where Ariel collects items with Flounder is a very similar resemblance to the one in Frozen. My theory. I do believe Rapunzel, Elsa, and Anna are not related. I do believe they know each other from traveling overseas. I'm not 100% accurate on how the ship in The Little Mermaid looked. I'm watching it now. If I do see a resemblance, my theory may change. Many also believe if it is the same boat that King Triton caused the storm resulting in the shipwreck Ariel found. Just another theory. If King Triton is Ariel's father and also god of sea, Zeus is the god of the sky and the father of Hercules, who is the god of strength and heroes, this would make Triton and Hercules first cousins. I do believe Ariel, Hercules, and Triton are related. It's hard not to believe so with mythology involved. I read a conspiracy where people believed King Triton had 7 different mothers of his children. Queen Athena was Ariel's mother, goddess of wisdom and war. Ariel has 6 siblings. Athena, age 21, Alana, 20, Adela, 17, Aquata, 18, Arista, 16, Adrena, 16, Ariel, 16. It has been confirmed that Ariel is the youngest. If you pay attention to the names of Ariel's sisters, they all mean something in Greek, or most do, but some are wise choices. Ariel's name has the most meaning or power to her name, the Lion of God. I have to agree that King Triton had different baby mothers for his children. All of his children look different and barely resemble. Some may be full siblings and some may be half. Let me know what you think. Okay. So let's try to break that down a little bit because that was a lot of different theories thrown in there. So we'll start at the beginning where, yes, we know that Rapunzel and Flynn were at the coronation. That has been an Easter egg that many, many people have pointed out. We know that it's true. There is the rumor that Anna and Elsa's parents were heading to Rapunzel and Flynn's wedding. Now, whether Rapunzel is related to them or whether they just know each other because they're both royals, who knows? Anna and Elsa's parents could be friends with Rapunzel's parents, or it could be like a royalty thing. We don't know. But with the second movie, we also know that they left to find the secret behind Elsa's powers. So that kind of throws a wrench in that theory that Anna and Elsa's parents were going to Rapunzel and Flynn's wedding. Not saying that they didn't, but when they left, I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but we know from the second movie that their parents left to find the secret behind Elsa's magic. When it comes to the Little Mermaid thing, I have seen things where people have said that the shipwreck in The Little Mermaid is Elsa and Anna's shipwreck, or Anna and Elsa's parents' shipwreck. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen The Little Mermaid in a long time to be able to really look at the shipwreck. But the other part of the Little Mermaid theory where Ariel, Hercules, and Triton are related, very possible, because Poseidon is king of the sea, and if Poseidon is the father of King Triton, then Hercules and him are cousins, and Ariel is his second cousin, or whatever. And then it's very possible that all of Ariel's siblings have different mothers. We know that. We know that in Greek mythology, the gods were man-whores. They were not loyal, they were not faithful, and it's very, very possible, especially since none of them look the same. So there's a lot in that theory. I think it was just a bunch of theories. So let me know what you think about that particular one. I'm really curious. Okay, the last one that we're going to be talking about is a Moana one. In Disney's Moana, Grandma Tala was poisoning the coconut trees and fish. Everything Moana did with Maui was just made up. The chief does not let anyone leave the island. All the villagers understand this is the way of life, except the oldest member of the village, Grandma Tala. She also knows there are boats hidden away. I assume she was a child when the then chief, implemented a no one leaves rule. I assume it was enforced by harsh punishment, and people weren't allowed to even talk about it. As an older generation of villagers who knew it was possible to leave the island aged and died out, the knowledge that they could leave began to vanish as well, and the subsequent chiefs kept selling this lie. So Grandma Tala hatched a long-con plan to subversively get Moana to leave the island and prove it was possible. She made up a story about Maui and the heart of Te Fiti, which she began telling the village children as an indoctrination tool. She continues to subtly persuade Moana as she grows up. Meanwhile, she continues to work away from all the other villagers. What is she doing at that time? Starting to poison the coconut trees and fish in the reef so that it will look like her stories of an encroaching darkness are coming true. When she is about to die, she knows that is her last chance to get Moana to leave. Everything she's been working towards for 15 years depended on that moment. So Moana leaves, and once out on the open ocean, I assume she found an explanation hidden on the boat, placed there by Grandma, explaining everything. Explaining that the only way to free the people was with the lie about Maui and Te Fiti, and Moana now had a choice to go back home or stay out at sea for a week, then return with stories about how it was all true, and how she met Maui and returned the heart, and it was now safe to travel again. So she did just that. I don't agree with that theory. I don't like the idea of Grandma Tala being the villain of the movie. Since it was based around a myth, was it Polynesian myth? I don't know. I'm sorry, that's kind of disrespectful. But it was based on a myth. So, I mean, I don't think there's like an alternate where Grandma Tala made it up. It's just my opinion. I don't, so what do you guys think about these Disney theories? Do we want a 5th video like this? What do you think about these specific theories that I talked about today? Do you have any of your own? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.